All right, let's try this again. Good morning, everybody. We are really hoping that this year is a safe prom for everyone, that it's fun and safe, and that's the goal of this presentation today. So we're going to start out, this is presented by Youth to Youth, and we're going to start out with a quick video.
Who killed her best friend in a speeding accident on prom night was sentenced today. An emotional day inside a Butler County juvenile courtroom. 9 on your side's Lisa Smith has the details.
With her hands trembling, a 17-year-old talks about living with the memories.
Stuck in your room at night, forever replaying what happened, wanting to scream for your mom, but knowing she'll never hear you.
9 on your side does not identify juveniles charged in juvenile court. The high school senior was driving her father's Tesla back in April when she crashed on Milliken Road in Liberty Township. She and 3 friends were headed to prom. 17-year-old Kaylee Jackson was killed.
Nothing I say or do will ever satisfy anyone in this courtroom. And I'll never be forgiven for what happened.
The teenager has admitted the charges of aggravated vehicular homicide and 2 counts of vehicular assault are true. One of the passengers in the car says he does forgive.
I fully forgive the defendant, and I hope she finds reconciliation wherever she ends up and lives a productive life.
It was difficult for Kaylee's mom to stay composed. She says her daughter wanted to become a surgeon and would have made a difference in the world.
No words to describe the immense pain, loss, and anger that I feel.
Judge Thomas Lips ordered the teen to serve a minimum of 6 months in a juvenile rehabilitation center. The judge said a treatment center instead of juvenile detention was the best option in this case.
She was reckless, made a bad decision that she's got to pay for. But that doesn't make her a bad person. And this needn't define her life, even though it probably will.
Lisa Smith, 9 on your side.
This morning we have 2 very brave people who are going to talk about probably the worst day of their life. Maddie and Jake Baker have agreed to speak to you this morning, and I think that we owe them your attention and your respect.
Hi, like she said, I'm Maddie and this is Jake, for anyone who doesn't know us. And today we are going to be talking about how consequences have actions and effects. To start, I want everyone to raise their hand if they have ever made a decision that had a consequence for better or for worse. Now I want everyone to think about how that decision affected more people than just you and whether it was intentional or not. So please keep that in mind as we share our story. Our mom was a 3rd grade teacher at Beloit Elementary and was driving home early on a November morning with Jake and I from dropping off subplans when a 19-year-old Carrollton graduate went left of center in his pickup truck and crashed head-on into our car.
So that morning, I was homesick from school, and that's why my mom was dropping off subplans. And for some reason, we took a way home from school that we normally didn't take, and we ended up getting in an accident. The person who was driving the other vehicle was on different kinds of drugs and everything, and he went left of center. My mom was killed instantly. I was left paralyzed from the waist down, and luckily, Madeline was fine. But after that, we were both transported to the hospital. Madeline was discharged that day. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks after that. I had to have multiple surgeries due to seatbelt-related injuries, and then after that, I had to go to inpatient physical therapy in Pittsburgh for 3 months.
Our mom was only 33 years old. I was only 4, and Jake was only 7. Now, real quick, I want you guys to raise your hand if you have seen your mom or your mother figure in the last week. Notice that our hands aren't up. Thankfully, I have a stepmom. You might know her. She's a middle school teacher. Her name's Mrs. Baker, and she's been really great, but honestly, it's just not the same. This is a picture just 3 weeks before the accident, and no one would have thought that that was the last family photo that we would ever take. Imagine a dad and husband widowed in an instant, my brother and I being told that our own mother was dead and wasn't coming back, the students being told that their teacher wouldn't be returning to teach them, and coworkers told that their friend and peer was killed, parents told that their daughter was dead, brothers and sisters told that they lost their own sibling. The list goes on and on.
Not only had I, at the age of 7, had to wrap my head about my mom never coming back, but I was also told that I would never walk again and never leave a wheelchair. From that day on, I've had countless hours of physical therapy and different procedures done just so I could prove the doctors wrong and walk. As you see here, that first picture all the way on your guys' left, well actually this one here, this was probably the summer after my accident. I was at a birthday party there, and as you see, I was still in a wheelchair, you know, just learning to walk again. You know, like a child, you gotta relearn to walk again after something like that.
Think, one decision to drive under the influence, what its consequences were and how many people it affected. When my dad went to court to witness the testimonies and outcome of the trial, he looked at the driver and said, "You get 2.5 years, and we all get a life sentence." What he meant by that was that she would never be present for anything ever again. Every birthday, achievement, holiday, celebration, milestone, and school dance we ever had, she was never there for. She won't be there tomorrow morning to help me get ready for prom. In every single future endeavor, such as graduation, senior activities, college visits, jobs, marriage, and kids, and general adult decisions, she will never be there for. Every moment throughout my life where she should have been, she wasn't. All because of that one man's decision. When I had you raise your hands about your moms, I want you to think about everything she has been there for, good and bad, and realize that mine has only been there for the first 3 years of my life.
As a family, what we love to do is show cows at county and state fairs. In just a year's time, I went from showing independently, as you can see there on the left, to having to have my dad help me show my cow since I could not walk without my crutches and my braces to help me lead my cow, as you see on the right. Not only did things change quickly as a family and adaptations were made, I continue to serve the life sentence that he gave me, one that I did not choose. For example, I was accepted into the Neo-UCOM pharmacy school, and I've since figured out that over the last year I cannot pursue that career due to having to stand all day. So instead, I found a career that I can do while sitting down.
Him and every other family member also suffers from the life sentence that was assigned to us from that one decision. Every milestone he has faced, his graduation, his apartment buying, and every important thing in his life, he wasn't there. Every anniversary that passed, my dad remembered without her. All of this because of one decision that had consequences that affected many people deeply. Please keep in mind that your decisions impact more people than you may realize. Over 1,000 people came to her calling hours. No one wants the burden of making the wrong decision and causing the pain that we just described to you in a nutshell, because believe me when I tell you, there is so much more. It has been 13 going on 14 years since the accident. She isn't coming back and nothing can change that. The pain hasn't gone away and it won't ever go away. It hasn't and will not get easier. No one wants the responsibility of causing others pain because you are the one to die or get injured because of a decision that you or someone else made. We can guarantee you that the driver didn't wake up that morning planning to do what he did because no one wants that responsibility, but he still did what he did because he made the wrong decision. I don't care how many times you've heard this, your parents would always rather get the call that you need a ride or need to spend the night because of a decision that you made rather than getting the call that you killed or injured someone or that you're the one dead. Just ask my dad because he will tell you that is the worst call he has ever received in his life. We just want you to know that your decisions have consequences that can last a lifetime for you and many others, so choose wisely. Make the right choice not only tomorrow night, but for the rest of your life. Thank you.